Okay, so in this tutorial we're gonna go over setting up colors, which is done through shaders. So we're gonna go over shaders. Yeah. Alright, so okay, the last time we left off, we set up our global illumination sky dome, the Arnold physical sun and sky. Okay, so we have this gray shader for our assets, our art assets, right? So we want to change it. The way we're gonna do that is well, first I'm gonna just put that there. We're gonna make sure we're still under rendering. Then we're gonna go to Windows. Okay, again, that's Windows, rendering editors. Okay, Windows, rendering editors, HyperShade, this thing that looks like a ball and it says HyperShade. I'm gonna click on that. Okay, alright, so we got this thing going on here. I'm just gonna give a overview of things. I'm gonna just stretch it out. So it looks pretty daunting. You got a whole bunch of stuff, this, all that stuff. So this part here, and you have tabs. You also have all these other tabs. So yeah. Only thing we're gonna pay attention for now is on materials. So these first three, they're like your standard stuff. They're always gonna be there. Just ignore them. We're not gonna use them at all. And say for example this one, this is probably applied on one of our shaders, and you got all this other white stuff. These were created when we made our texts before, I believe. Let me just double check. I'm just gonna shrink this down, put it over here. Let me get rid of this. Alright, so I'm gonna hover over one of these. I'm gonna right click on it. Okay. Then I'm gonna select objects with material. So it's gonna select whatever is assigned with that shader, that white ball. Looks like nothing. That's strange. Let me try another one. Select object. Okay, there you go. It selected that one. Let me select this one. Again, I just right clicked over it. I selected it. I right click, select objects with material. Alright, looks like we're not using that. Right click, select objects with material. Oh look, another one. Oh, was it the same one? Anyway, I want to clear all this out with whatever we're not using. So again, under our HyperShade, we're gonna go to Edit, delete unused nodes. Nodes meaning like any one of these kind of stuff or other things that we made that we are not using. Edit, delete unused nodes, and delete a couple, but the rest are still being used. Strange. So what I'm gonna do is, so first I want to explain that these are again shaders, but these shaders are made for Maya's default shading. They're Maya's default shaders that came with Maya ever since it was first introduced. But like I said before, we're going to be working with Arnold, the Arnold Renderer. Arnold has its own shaders. Okay, these are not Arnold shaders, so they can be very confusing. So what I'm gonna do is introduce you to the Arnold shaders. Down here is your create menu, and if you look here it says Arnold, and then if you look over here it says shader. If I click on it, something new pops up. All this other stuff. all I want you to pay attention to is something called AI Standard Surface. Again, that is under Arnold Shader AI Standard Surface. Click. I just made that. And if I look over here, we made something new. And it says AI Standard Surface 1. Okay, that means it's an Arnold, A for Arnold. I don't know what I stands for. It's your Arnold shader, standard surface shader. We're going to be using that mostly. If you look over here, this is our work area. Okay, and I'm gonna again Alt, right mouse click, hold and drag, let go. This is called your shader network. Okay, your shader network. And you have all this other stuff that you can manipulate to change how the shader looks like. It will get super complicated, but we're only gonna work on two things, that's it. And it's gonna produce something really decent. This is your standard surface. Just ignore this, do not cut this off, just don't mess with this. It's for some other stuff. All you do is just pay attention to this, okay? That's all you need to know. And our next tutorial, we're gonna go over just the base, which is your base color. We'll briefly go over weight, what that is, diffuse, metalness, specular. These are the two main things we will be going over. But for now, I just introduced you to the HyperShade, okay? Yeah, so that's the end of this tutorial.